Hi there. Here's a video in which I'm going to create a riddle class and then call it from the main class or a different class. So in Replit, they default you to this main class that says hello world. I'll print that just to make sure I'm connected and everything like that. Great. In Java, typically you'll write other classes in a new file. So I'll go in here and make a riddle.java file, and that's where I'll write my riddle class. So we know that a class starts with something like this, and I'll need a constructor with no return type, so public riddle, like that. Now, on an AP exam, this will get you 1 point already, just having something like this. So let's add first the private instance variables for my class. What's the data for a riddle? What sort of information does a riddle have? Well, let's go with just the question and the answer. So I will put those as my two private instance variables above the constructor. So string q equal, well, let's call it question, equals, no, not equals, just declaring it, string answer. So just saying this is the data that the class has. Now, in the riddle constructor, initially I wrote this without any parameters in here, but I want to make it so that when somebody creates a new riddle, they can provide the question and answer right away to set these question and answer values here as initially with to set their initial values equal to the question answer that the user creates the riddle with. So I'm going to put some parameters in this constructor like this. We'll just call them Q and A, so they're a little shorter. And then I can initialize these instance variables. I declared them here. This is where I told Java to reserve some space in memory with a label question on it, right? So I'm going to now give that an initial value. And so when somebody calls the constructor, we'll say that the Q parameter that they give us, boy, I can't type here, will get assigned to the question data. So this first item in the list of parameters for the constructor will become the question, and the answer will get A. Now I've written a constructor, and let's go back over to my main class where I can call this and see how those constructor parameters work. So hello world, I'll keep that there just so I know the program's starting well. And then I can say, I want to call a constructor like new riddle, but I need to provide the constructor now a question and an answer for the riddle. Like how many blah blah blahs, and then that's the question and the answer would be 15. I don't know, like this is a pretty lame riddle, isn't it? And you know, like riddles are actually tend to be a little bit longer than this, and so maybe I don't want to write the strings right in here. So let's have a new variable up here that's just Q, and now I can write out my question there, and I can make it like a little more of a useful, you know, a useful question like what has lots of eyes but doesn't see? Useful riddle question. And then string answer is, do you know? It's a potato. All right, so now when I create my new riddle, I can do QA. To send this in as the question and this in as the answer, because I put those as the parameters for my call to the riddle constructor. And then in the constructor over here, right, this is where those parameters are caught by the method and then used in the method here. Now, this is kind of lame, just writing new riddle, right? That's calling the constructors, creating new riddle, and then I'm just leaving it there. I'm not doing anything with it. I should assign it to a variable. So I want to assign this to a variable like int r gets new riddle. But wait a minute, a riddle isn't an integer. So what data type do I need here for a riddle? Like, could I do a string R? Well, a riddle is actually like a couple strings, and I'm going to throw in some other methods too. So it's not a string, it's not a Boolean, it's actually a riddle, right? By defining this class riddle, I've actually kind of created a new custom data type called riddle. So my data type is R, the variable name my data type is riddle, my variable name is R. And in that variable R, I'm going to store this new riddle. Cool. All right, let's run the code. Great. Hello world, and nothing happens because I've created this riddle, but now I haven't done anything with it. Stored it in R. So let's write a couple methods for this riddle, like R print question. So I want to be able to print the riddle question. Okay, so come back to riddle class. So dot class, don't go there, right? That's the like compiled binary. Same thing with that dot class. You're working in the dot Java file. All right, so to create a method, to define a method for the riddle class, I'll go below the constructor. I'll write public. All my methods should be public. The return type of the method. Am I returning anything? No, I think I'm just going to print something. So we'll do void. Void, printing isn't the same as returning. And I think I call it print question. So here we go. I have a void method. It's called print question. It has no parameters. Timeout. I just noticed something. I didn't put any visibility keywords up here, or access keywords. For the instance variables, these are private instance variables, so I should write private here. My bad. So public class riddle has two private instance variables. It has a public constructor, and now it has a public method called print question, and that's just going to be a super simple method, system.out.println question, right? And now let's run our code, and sweet. Hello world, and then it prints the question because it's following the code that's in the main class over here, where I create the riddle on this line, and then I call the print question method. So we could write in CS Awesome, they have a print answer method as well, so let's write that briefly. I'm just going to copy paste this because it looks like it's going to be pretty similar. So print question, print answer, and instead of printing the question, we want to print the answer. All right, so there's a basic class setup for my riddle class, and it prints hello world, it prints the question, but it doesn't print the answer, but I wrote the print answer method. Why doesn't it print the answer? Come on, Smith. Let's go back to the main class. Why doesn't it print the answer? Because I never called the print answer method. So I can't just write print answer because that's not defined anywhere. I need to do r.printanswer. I'm calling print. I'm getting the object that's stored in the variable r, which is this new riddle I created, and I'm going to print the answer. Call the print answer method on that riddle. Now I should get what I'm looking for. What has lots of eyes but doesn't see? The potato.